You are listening to the Next Gen Jets show. Now, here are your hosts Connor Long, Chris Grasso, Jack Cotter, and Josh Woolever.
Yes, you are, in fact, listening to the Next Gen Jets show, streaming live right here on YouTube and Twitter. Hello, everyone. How you doing? Welcome into the show. I am your host, Connor Long. No Chris Grasso, no Jack Cotter, but I got my co-host, Josh Woolever, with me right here on this Saturday evening, September 20th, 2025. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure you smash the like button and hit subscribe down below. That's the free way to support us in what we're doing here. So make sure you do that. Your questions, your comments, your thoughts, throw all of those in the chat. Call into the show. If you want to get up here on the screen and give your takes with the link that is pinned in the description down below. New raffle prizes to come next show. We already have 10 raffle entries for this coming month, so we appreciate that. Every $2 super chat or gift and membership will give you an entry right here on the program. Josh, I can't thank you enough for filling in this past week, 2 days in a row. Shout out to you. I was on a school trip. I was off the grid. No show yesterday, but I am back. Week 3, Jets Buccaneers, Josh, tomorrow. 0-2 against 2-0. The 0-2 team, of course, the Jets, on the road. Brutal, Josh.
Connor, I appreciate the opportunity and your trust allowing me to fill in for you. Got to talk with a couple members of your chat. Got to take a couple callers. Had a great past 2 shows here on the channel. So going for a tic-tac-toe 3 in a row on the Connor Long YouTube channel. But I appreciate the opportunity as always. Happy to chop it up in terms of the Jets with you. Look, I'm not optimistic about this week. I will tell you that right off the rip. But what can I say? It's Jets football. We only get 17 of these a year because we don't know what the playoffs are. So I'm gonna value it, and I'm gonna hold it sacred to my heart, even though I'm not expecting us to go into Tampa and win a game here.
Absolutely. And thank you to everyone who is joining us. Your questions, your comments, your thoughts in the chat. Call into the show with the link that is pinned in the description down below. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear what you have to say. We appreciate the hell out of you guys, and we appreciate your support, as always, right here on the Next Gen Jet Show. Josh, you broke it down, filling in for me, I think Wednesday it was, with Tyrod Taylor, however you say his name. Tyrod is how it is pronounced according to Baker Mayfield. Tyrod Taylor set to start on Sunday, tomorrow, for the Jets against Tampa Bay. His first start as a Jet, his first since 2023, where he made a handful of starts with the New York Giants. Josh, what does this mean for the Jets, and kind of how does this affect their game plan going into tomorrow? What do you expect out of Tyrod compared to Justin Fields, who obviously delivered a dismissal performance prior to his absence with a concussion?
I am not fully on board with calling him Tyrod at this point, but Tyrod Taylor, in my eyes, you hate to see your starting quarterback, Justin Fields, go down with a concussion, and hopefully this is the one and only week this happens, assuming that this is a loss. You want to get Fields out there as quickly as possible, and you never like to see your starting quarterback go down, but there is, in fact, a silver lining. After that bad of a performance you had in week 2, where you got outscored 30-3 in your time on the field, because the only touchdown came when Taylor filled in for Fields' last drive of the day for the Jets in scrap time, their end of the fourth quarter. So you got outscored 30-3. There's no doubt this offense needed a jolt. After week 2, no matter what the final score was, when Justin Fields left the game, not only did you feel for him, you felt for the entire offense. So I hope Tyrod Taylor can come in here, use his veteran skills, and go into a playoff environment and try and play with, not beat, but play with a playoff team in Tampa, because it's their first home game of the year. So no doubt that they're going to want to show out for their fans there. And the Buccaneers are a playoff team. Baker Mayfield has solidified himself as a top 10 passer in this league. So the Buccaneers are going to be a tough team to beat. What Tyrod Taylor needs to do if the Jets want to stick in this game, he needs to manage the game. Justin Fields last week, clearly nothing was working for this offense. He completed 3 passes for 27 yards, which is less than the amount of points the Bills scored, which is one of the more absurd stats you'll ever hear. But Tyrod Taylor needs to manage the game. I'm expecting the Jets to shake it up at least a little bit more than they did last week when it was run, and the Bills were expecting it. They stacked the box and did so effectively, stopping the Jets' run, pass, no matter what the Jets threw at them. The Bills were all over it defensively. So expect them to mix it up a little bit more with a veteran passer in there with Taylor.
I want to address this comment right here from John because YouTube is not letting me chat. YouTube is being super annoying with what I'm trying to put in the chat, etc. Says, when was the raffle, my guy John? The raffle was last Monday, and I tried to let you know in the chat. You weren't in the chat when we did the raffle, so I wanted to let you know next time I saw you. You won a CJ Mosley signed jersey, and I want to get that to you. So you can email me your info, CLong, CLONGPW, and the numbers 715@gmail.com. That is my email. I'll try to throw it in the chat here. Please email me your info, John, and that will get mailed out to you on Monday, my friend. Thank you so much for all of your support here on the program. It was great to see you go ahead and win a raffle prize. YouTube is being annoying again in the chat. Again, that is CLONGPW and the numbers 715@gmail.com. Thank you, John. Thank you to everyone who supports the show. The free way, the paid way, it goes a long way. Another starter, Josh, who will miss tomorrow's matchup, a starter who has gotten off to a lackluster start this year. Tony Adams nursing a hip injury. He was listed as questionable entering the weekend. Jets downgraded him to out today. Malachi Moore, fourth-round rookie who this fan base has been very excited about throughout the summer, throughout the first few weeks of the regular season, kind of craving for him to get an opportunity. Well, he's going to get his first NFL start tomorrow. Jets elevate Dean Clark from the practice squad, and it's going to be no easy test for the Jets secondary, unit that has struggled immensely this season. When you talk about the struggles of Brandon Stevens, a player like Michael Carter II, who just hasn't looked the same. And it's not going to get much easier for Gang Green tomorrow. Emeka Ibuka, he's going to be playing, leads the team in touchdowns. Talking about Tampa Bay here, 3 touchdowns, 2 games into the 2025 season. We know who Mike Evans is. He's a Hall of Fame pass-catching wide receiver. Chris Godwin's out. Cade Otton, however, one of the best pass-catching tight ends in the league. This secondary is going to need to step it up, and there are going to be a lot of eyes on Malachi Moore tomorrow.
100%. This whole secondary. If there's one thing that was worse than Justin Fields in week 2, that was the secondary, because they somehow outdid themselves from week 1. Whether it was Brandon Stevens continuing to look like one of the worst corners in the league, and for the ridiculous amount of money he was paid this offseason, just not 8 quarters into the football season, already showing how much of a joke that contract was. So I think we can, we're trending towards at least tabbing that as Darren Muji's first huge swing and miss as Jets GM. But I think this entire secondary has to step it up. No doubt that the safeties were a big part of that. But also guys like MC2 was not played well in the slot after he got paid at all. Sauce Gardner got caught by multiple penalties last week and frankly could not keep up with the Bills wide receivers. I think the entire secondary needs to step it up, and similar to what Tyrod Taylor is experiencing with this offense, I think a new face could be extremely helpful here. You're talking about, 4th-round rookie Malachi Moore, or 5th round, I think it was, who obviously this team is very high on, but you have to understand that when you come in here, it's not just an easy transition in your first NFL game. And he didn't start the first 2 weeks, so he is going to have to go up against a tough Buccaneers receiving core, and he is going to have to make big-time plays. This entire Jets secondary has been awful, is the word I'll use to start the season. Let's see if he can give them a little bit of an energy boost here. We just need mediocre play at this point. You can't expect anything more from the unit, which is disappointing because of how much I hyped them up going into the year.
When you talk about Tyrod Taylor and what we're going to see from him tomorrow, it's not that I'm concerned about his ability. I think when he's on the field, Taylor is a very, very serviceable NFL quarterback. He's the perfect backup, 28-28-1, his career record when given a starting opportunity, when starting a game, entering his 16th now NFL season. 28-28-1. So 28-28, and then
I thought you just repeated 28. I was
no. I wish we'd have a franchise quarterback in our hands right now, Josh. If that was
and that's what Chris probably thinks.
Anyways, when you talk about Taylor and what we're going to see from him tomorrow, I'm not concerned about who he is as a passer. I think he's going to unlock Arian Smith tomorrow. When you talk about his confidence and pushing the ball downfield, something we saw during his time with the Giants, particularly 2023, where we saw him start football games most recently. It's about getting injured. That's the biggest concern with Taylor and what it's been his whole career. And the Jets are one snap away from watching Brady Cook, who I am a big fan of, step in and take starting reps. I'm a big fan of Brady Cook. Everyone who watches this show knows that I am a huge Brady Cook supporter. However,
My God.
he is not the quarterback you want taking snaps for you, meaningful snaps in week 3 of the NFL season as you look to avoid going 0-3, Josh.
In week 3, we're talking about potentially Brady Cook being in there. I mean, this has been a nightmare start. And to be honest, as much as I love my New York Jets and as much as I want to be hopeful, I got to admit, I don't see much light at the end of this tunnel. So you got to hope and pray that Tyrod Taylor plays his best football. Most importantly, stays healthy. You're right. You cannot afford at all to see Taylor go down here. I mean, not only does it give up hope, I mean, if it's a severe injury, we've already seen Fields be fragile out in 2 weeks. If Tyrod Taylor can't stay healthy, you're talking about Brady Cook playing not only this week, but probably more down the line as well, considering you have 2 running quarterbacks that are prone to getting banged up. So you hope Tyrod Taylor is smart enough in that sense, and he's a veteran quarterback. He knows when to throw it away. He knows to slide and to get out of bounds when he's running with it. But I also think there's an aspect of shaking off that rust, because when did you say his last start was, 2-3 years ago? He hasn't started a game for the New York Jets. That's all I know. So there's no doubt that comes with disadvantages, but I think he has been great filling in for the Jets, but in way too small of a sample size. Let's see what he does in an entire game here. But man, if he gets injured, it's really a dumpster fire at that point. Sound all alarms.
I think the most notable injury for this team entering week 3 is defensive end Jermaine Johnson dealing with an ankle injury. He's going to be out tomorrow, and I tab that in particular because the Jets have no defensive line depth, especially on the outside. And Jermaine was pushed hard really early in the season, played nearly 90% of the defensive snaps in week 1, and then got banged up in week 2. Keep in mind, he is, I think, a year and 5 days it is removed from tearing his Achilles. And these Achilles injuries typically take players 1 whole year to get back to full strength. This ankle injury, I'm no doctor, but this could be potentially related to overuse, potentially the fact that the Jets pushed him so hard, so quick. And I think that's a testament to the fact that they have no defensive line depth. Now, when you talk about the rotation tomorrow, I wrote up a column for Jets X Factor that I will be putting up momentarily. How the Jets kind of manage this and how the Jets handle the fact that Jermaine Johnson's going to be out tomorrow and they're going to be without a defensive lineman who played 90% of their defensive snaps just 2 weeks ago. Well, everyone's going to say Michael Clemens, he's going to have to play that much, blah, 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 blah. Yes, Clemens is going to play a significant workload, but this is something not a lot of people are keeping in mind. The Jets didn't elevate Eric Watts, so they clearly feel comfortable with what they have. They didn't elevate a defensive end for the practice squad. The Jets' defensive ends tomorrow are Will McDonald, obviously, Michael Clemens, Braden McGregor, who was inactive in week 1, and Tyler Barron, who was inactive last week. Both, of course, healthy scratches, respectfully. So when you talk about how the Jets are going to rotate in and out, Clemens, I assume, is going to play over half of the defensive snaps. I know we don't want that. He is going to, however, play over half of the defensive snaps. I don't think he's going to play 90, 80%, though. The guys that I'm looking at, and I think the under-the-radar way the Jets could attack this is by going big on the outside. Quinnen Williams, Jawan Briggs, Leonard Taylor III have all played defensive end throughout their NFL career. Williams has taken 228 career snaps on the outside. Taylor has lined up on the edge 51 times as a rookie, just a rookie last year. And then Briggs also saw 28 snaps there at the position last year across 6 games. Look, I'm not saying this is going to make the Jets a top 10 pass rush and have 4 sacks from their edge rushers tomorrow. What I'm saying, however, is there's a path where Michael Clemens doesn't need to play 90, 80% of your snaps, and you can go big on the outside.
Can I ask you a dumb question? If you're taking up a 53-man roster spot, why would you be a healthy scratch?
Well, because you can only activate 48 players on game day. And there's typically practice squad elevation.
Yep, guys getting called up. Okay, thank you.
You can only have 48 of your, I think it is 48 I don't want to misspeak. How many players can be active on an NFL
And that was
roster?
Alan Lazard in week 1, I think.
Yeah, 47 or 48. Um, let's see. Um, a team can have 47 players on their game day roster if they do not make the criteria for a larger roster. A team can have 48 on game day roster provided if they have at least 8 offensive linemen. I say 48 because the Jets always have at least 8 offensive linemen
Okay.
that are active. So it's 48 and then plus the emergency quarterback if you have one, but the Jets don't have that.
Yes. So, but back to your defensive endpoints. Okay, thank you for clearing that up. Back to your defensive endpoints. Like, you draft Tyler Barron in the 6th round, and if he's going to be this useless to the fact that you have to force guys to play out of position, and I know you've said that they have played there before, whatever, but it's not their natural positions. We both know that they're better on the inside, and maybe you take a guy like Briggs, who's already a depth piece for the interior, slide him outside. That would make sense considering he already had a monster game. So that's someone I would like. But like, think about sliding Quinnen Williams to the exterior of the line.
I mean, he's done
You
it
know,
228 times for this team, like when they've had legit defensive
right.
ends as well. You can go big and
You can, but back to my whole testament was to how little faith you have in Tyler Barron. Like, what has he played? No NFL snaps yet? Like,
he
I
played
mean,
7 in week 1. He was inactive last week and they traded up for him.
yeah, and they traded up for him. Oh my god. It's like, here we go. Let's see. Let's see. I mean, they're forced to play Malachi Moore at this point, so we'll get a key into their day 3 picks in this aspect. But obviously, Armand Membu's looked great, and we're confident in Mason Taylor, but drafting at the
Yeah.
back end is important. So let's see if this works out. But extremely interesting to see, not only on the edge, but I think the entire defense, because the secondary is in trouble too. The linebackers, like, you just paid Sherwood, and now he comes out and the whole team can't tackle, but he's supposed to be the leader and stuff. So just a ton to dissect here. Gonna be from this defense. And I think you're right, it does start up front with not only the logistics, but once Glenn's got his guys out there, how they actually play, and if they can get home to Baker and disrupt the passer. Because I think, evidently the quarterbacks these last 2 weeks have had way too much time to throw. And yeah, that gives the secondary a little bit of a break. I'm not going to blame the entire thing on them because pass rush has not been great. They weren't able to contain Allen last week. So I think they had 1 sack for a loss of 1 yard or something, or maybe 2 sacks for 5 yards. It was something like that. And I think one of them was in garbage time. So the pass rush hasn't been good enough. And yes, that leads to big plays being able to be drawn up.
I'll say this about kind of the Jets rookie draft class and how they've performed. Yes, I understand it's 2 weeks in. I'm not making any proclamations. I'm not making any full declarations, for the future. But the draft class has kind of played out the way I expected it to. Like, I gave this draft a C minus, and 2 games in, it's played out that way. Armand Membu, bona fide stud on the right side. He wasn't my concern. My concern began with Mason Taylor, and I get it. He's had a strong summer. He's been banged up slightly. I was concerned with his blocking ability and how much of an impact he was able to carve out immediately as a pass catcher.
Yeah.
We haven't seen much of him yet, really breaking through and building that rapport and building that chemistry with the Jets quarterbacks with Justin Fields. And we'll see with Tyrod Taylor ultimately tomorrow. Azarie Thomas has not played, I think, a defensive snap yet 2 weeks into the season.
Nope.
So there's that. Arian Smith continued to look puzzling and wonder why the Jets took him. Tyler Barron, who they traded up for, a mess, an absolute mess. And then Malachi Moore, we're going to see him tomorrow in action. It's just kind of the way I expected this draft to play out. That's how it's gone thus far. And it's just 2 games in, but look, in a year where you're experimenting and trying to see what you have in this coaching staff, it's been all but pretty.
And it's scary that this team's likely to start 0-3. Like, you have that, and the team's not winning football games. So there's going to be scrutiny under Glenn Quick. Let's see how this team responds. But you're right. This is a nightmare start. And It's not like the season where I expected Aaron Rodgers to lead the Jets to the Super Bowl, so I'm fine. Like, I wouldn't be terribly distraught if this team wins 5 or 6 games. That's where my head is at realistically right now. But, I mean, what are we approaching? This is going to be year 15, so I mean, it's brutal at some point, and I know it's not Glenn's fault, but it all traces back to the heritage of the fan, and right now nothing's pretty for the Jets.
Thank you all for joining us. Make sure you smash the like button, hit subscribe. He's Josh Woolever. I'm Connor Long, right here with you guys on the Next Gen Jet Show. Your questions, your comments, your thoughts in the chat. Call into the show with the link that is pinned in the description down below. We'll stay on here for about 30 minutes. Quick preview show as we do every single Saturday. Josh in with me right here on the show, filled in for me twice. This week he's with me again. No Chris, unfortunately. No Jack either, but it's still us. I always say, you even know when we're on the phone, I always mix
Yes.
up.
A lot of mix up.
I used to be so good with names until 6th grade hit, and then ever since then, I'm terrible with names. That's
You marked the spot at least. You got it
because
down.
every teacher used to say, and they still say it, like, I'm so sorry, I'm so bad with names, blah blah blah. And I was great with names at the time, and I was always thinking in my head, how are you bad with names, especially if you have the kid in your class? And now it's like, I probably couldn't give you an explanation, but I understand where you're coming from, anyone who is bad with names. So shout out to everyone right here on the show. Your questions, your comments, your thoughts, throw those in the chat. We are going to wrap up the show chatting with you guys in the chat. So shout out to everyone here. Come with us. Come hang out with Matt O'Leary and I at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We kick off our weekly pregame show, post-game reaction right here on the feed immediately after the final whistle. Thank you all. Be sure to tune in. Be sure to smash the like button. Be sure to hit subscribe. We appreciate the support as always. Brick says, don't you guys think this can be a potential trap game for the Bucs? Look, it's interesting because they're dealing with a ton of injuries.
Is Tristan Wirfs out? That's what I was going to ask.
So
you.
Tristan Wirfs, I believe, is not playing. He's out tomorrow. Yes, Tristan Wirfs is out. Chris Godwin's out. Emeka Buka will ultimately be playing tomorrow. And I'm trying to think. There was another.
And he practiced all week, so that's not terribly surprising.
Yeah, the Bucs are going to be without a key defensive lineman as well, who also ended his season. So there's like a fair share of injuries. Like Cody Munch, their starting guard, is out.
So that's 2 starting linemen for them. Tristan Wirfs, the tackle too. So that'll alleviate at least a little bit of the Jets' woes defensively on the line.
Well, both guards. So they're going to be without 3 of their starting offensive linemen.
Oh my. Okay.
They're going to be without. They're going to be without Cody Munch. They're going to be without Luke Godeke. So that whole right side is going to be backups. And then Tristan Wirfs, obviously, he's going to be out as well.
That's where whoever's filling in for Jermaine will be.
Yep, Kalijah Cansey, one of their key defensive linemen, he's out for the season. So, look, they have a lot of injuries. And, like, should this pass rush have been fully healthy, should Jermaine have been playing, I would have been like, this is a game you got to go get 5-6 sacks. And the thing is, you can't blitz that much because Baker plays the blitz and reads the blitz so well at this point in his career. It's their home opener. I have the Bucs winning this football game. I could see a world where the Jets pull it out. I just can't pick this team.
It's a win for me if the Jets keep it within single digits. Let me just put that out there. And I'm not talking about, you lose by 21 and you score a last-second touchdown to make the score look respectable. Like, you actually stick with this playoff team through 4 quarters, and I'm happy at the end of the day because at this point in the season, I think we can both agree this Jets team is going nowhere. And I'm not tanked for the pick in week 2. I would absolutely love to see this team win, and that's what I'll be rooting for. But let me just be honest with you. I can't see a world in which it happens. So let's just hope that this Jets team can look respectable, which is not at all what they looked like against a Super Bowl contender in the Bills last week.
Momo says, does Jermaine worry you long term, Josh?
I mean, my question is, do you think the coach is thinking here is that Jermaine only has 1 more year on his contract left? Do you try and milk everything you can out of him, get the most out of him, ignore sort of the medical standpoint, which would be awful if that is what they're thinking? and just be disrespectful because it kills the rest of his career. But I mean, absolutely. Like, you continue to re-injure that same spot where the Achilles was. They didn't specify whether it was something with the Achilles. They just said ankle, right, or lower leg. So it could easily be something getting re-aggravated. It's definitely not like an out for the season issue, but this continues to happen, and Aaron Glenn just can't roll the dice with players' career. So I really hope that's not what happens. But I mean, obviously, we have no say into what's actually happening behind closed doors there at the Jets facility.
I will say this, Josh, going back to what you said about the season and kind of how it sits right now. I have the Jets starting 4-7 and finishing 8-9. That was the schedule prediction I listed out, and I have them 8-8 heading into the last game of the year. Like, there's a world, and I hate schedule predictions. I know they mean nothing. Like, there's a world where this team could start 4-7 and still end up winning 7-8 games.
I have them starting 1-5. You know that as well as anybody.
So what do you have them finishing 6-11?
Yes, so that's what I picked him pregame. But one of those wins was against the Steelers, so shows you how much we know.
I had them beating the Steelers. I had them losing to the Bills.
You told me before the Bills game they would win.
I was a little in the moment. In my official set, and on the pregame, I picked the Bills. In my official schedule prediction, I picked the Bills as well. Yes. And I have them losing to Tampa Bay. And
gosh, you tell Chris Grasso this team starts 0-3 before the season, he'd freak out. and that's no shame against Chris. He's just
only the Jets. Only the Jets. This is what they do to us.
Or the Dolphins, I suppose, when it's an 0-3 battle in South Florida on primetime next week.
A Bills fan, Sean in the building, says good luck this week. Keep up the great content. Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
It. I appreciate the support. As always, shout out to you on the show. Josh, rightfully so, getting his praise in the chat for the incredible job he did filling in for me. Shout out to you, Paul. Shout out to you.
Thanks, Paul.
The reluctant Earthling. Shout out to everyone here on the show. M123, I123, because I'm scared Chris will be like Joe Beningo in 6 years. It's probably right.
I mean, does Joe Beningo do electricity and plumbing for a living?
Joe Beningo is an all-time great. He's like, if I could draw a standard Jet fan, it's Joe Beningo.
he might as well just be like the team's honorary father or something.
Ugh, the pain and the suffering.
I know. He's been having to go through it for the longest. My gosh.
Paul says, Connor, we saw a clip of you at 5 years old, the same age as Woolever is now. Was this the clip?
They go on one. Will they go here with the
Here we go.
I look like I could be Josh's father in that picture, in that video of me. I could be your father in that video.
You're the one in the background saying, "Here we go."
No,
you're playing the Papa Long role in that one.
I look like I could be your father. Peter McCluskey, Michael. Josh, do you think if I said you were my child, my adopted child,
nobody would believe you?
Anyone would believe me.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
I want to hear what everyone has to say in the chat. If I was walking with Josh on the street,
stop.
If I was walking next to Josh,
I'm short, but I'm not that short.
Would if we were doing a podcast, do you think it could pass that I am Josh's father? I'm intrigued.
I'm 35 according to Earthling.
And you're using AI to fake your appearance.
Connor, you're a big fan of AI. Maybe you trained your son up to do that.
AI is great. You are trained pretty well in AI. As your father, I make sure.
All right, no, this comes to an end right now.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I just hope my friends from school don't get their hands on this. They will never be able to get over this. Oh my gosh.
John's a strap in, boys. 15 years, no playoffs. I'm used to it. I'm used to it. I know no better. I know nothing better. Barney says, okay, guys, it's the new Jets generation. I have one thing to say. You guys don't need to be positive, but Jalen Brunson said the secret is you can't be afraid to lose players and fans. Win football games. That's all I say. Win football games. That's what this team needs to do.
I'm not scared of losing. I'm just tired of it.
We'll wrap with this intriguing one here from Italian Eddie Rouse. Did we overpay for Sauce? I think so. He's too soft a holding machine and never gets a pick. I'll say this. I think Sauce is the top 3 cornerback in the league. I think he is someone who is so valuable. Can play outside, can play in the slot. Allowed 1 catch for 11 yards on a tip drill in week 1. Sure, it wasn't his best week last year. That happens to every single cornerback, from Pat Surtain to Brandon Stevens. It happens to every single player. It wasn't like he was a liability. He was on the injury report the entire week. I think a lot of people forget about that as well. I think Sauce Gardner was paid what he deserves, rightfully so.
Absolutely. And if you wanted to keep him around as a Jet, he made it abundantly clear he wanted to be paid like the top cornerback in the league. And I think that's money he deserves. No, this is not an overpay. Yes, he had a below his standards year last year. Yes, he had a below his standards last week. But he was an all-pro in his first 2 years, and that's just not something you see. Number 4 overall pick. This is not a guy you let to walk. And I think that was Aaron Glenn's first priority when he took over the team. Outside of the draft, I think the next thing he wanted to get right was Sauce Gardner's contract. So I think by no means is this an overpay. I think this Jets team and this Jets defense has a leader in Sauce Gardner, and he's just so athletic. He is such a good football player. You just can't let a guy like that go. And you
Ladies
had
and
the
gentlemen.
money to. And you had the money to.
Ladies and gentlemen, smash the like button, hit subscribe. Thank you so much for all of your support, as always, right here on the Next Gen Jet Show. Hopefully, you guys swing by tomorrow, 11 a.m. EST. Matt O'Leary and I on pregame coverage immediately after the final whistle on the postgame. Stay tuned, smash the like, hit subscribe for daily Jets content right here on the program. Josh, great to do a back and forth duo show with you for the first time in a little bit. So
100%.
super fun show, and go win tomorrow, New York Jets.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, but I would love to. Let's go Jets, baby. Hopefully not another week of misery. Hopefully this team can show us signs of life. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not going to tell you guys that this Jets team needs to win. That's not how it's going to go down, but show us some signs of life. But if it's like a disappointing, truly, unwatchable game for the second week in a row, I mean, this fan base is going to go crazy, man. Just do it for our sanity, please, Jets. Let's go, baby. Great to talk with you, Connor. Appreciate it as always. You're the best. And same time next week, as they like to say.
Right back at you, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to all of you guys. See you tomorrow. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate your support as always. That'll do it for us. He's Josh Woolever. I'm your host, Connor Long, right here on the Next Gen Jet Show, saying have a great rest of your evening, everyone. And as always, JTS.
Jets.
Jets.
Jets. Jets.
Peace out, folks.